How we ended up being in Uganda. My father, who left India at a very, very young age, in a little town called Fort Portal, which is in the border of Uganda and Rwanda, and there he was actually working for the British Army, so he actually went there to join the British Army. And I was born in Fort Portal. It almost reminds me of Yorkshire or the countryside. I do a lot of trekking, and that really always has to remind me. And last year I was quite lucky enough to actually visit my birthplace after 40 years, and it still was very green and beautiful when I went there last year to show my children where I was born. But I remember my brother who went there a couple of years back, and the house was still there, and he came back from that trip and he said to me, do you remember the house that you used to live in, Fort Portal? And I said, yes. And she said, what was it like? And I said, it was a really big house. And he said, no, it was a little hut. I said, really? But as a child, you see everything big, and it doesn't make. So I was a young child, thought my house was really big. In fact, it was a 2-bedroom hut. So it really makes me wonder, where did we all sleep? Where did my mother put 7 of us in the house?
So really nice to see you. My name is Peter Chand, and I was here about a month ago, and I had the privilege of meeting some members of the community that were directly affected by the expulsion story themselves. And so the story you're going to hear now is like a reaction to what experiences they shared with me. I was really privileged to be able to hear their stories and the themes that came out from their experiences.
As soon as she said those words, the boy says, "Mother, I'd love to have a drum." And the mother thought, why did I ask him? I can't afford a drum. We can barely afford to eat. We live hand to mouth. Like this. You might know this move already. You get your hand like this, and you know this is called the changing of the light bulb. You know this one, yeah? But at the same time, you have to imagine you have a dog here, very large dog, admittedly, and you're patting it at the same time, so you're going. Yeah, brilliant. On this side as well, super. You guys are really good in the corner there, brilliant. Okay, that's your first move, that was quite easy. Second move is this. This is a very traditional move and it's called the aeroplane in the sky. So you can imagine there's an aeroplane going across the sky. So this is all about the shoulders. So you get your pointy fingers, yeah? And you go, look at the plane, woohoo.
You know, when they go to the slaughtered lamb on the moors, that's the pub of the slaughtered lamb. That's why it reminded me of the slaughtered lamb. I was like, what the heck am I doing here? Went inside and there was like sort of, like us guys in a circle, about 10, 15 people. Nobody was getting paid. Somebody stood up and said, I want to tell you a story from across the border in Wales, and just told like a Welsh folk tale or something. And somebody told an African story, somebody told a little Aesop's fable. That's how much she was into the space, and living it and breathing it. So that's a really good point that you are making. And he couldn't see it, and I told him afterwards, I says, you couldn't see this woman actually looked over somebody's shoulder. That's how much
so one day an Italian man got up and decided to go to the pub that was on the street.
There is a street, and at the end of the street there is a fountain. And above the fountain is a large flock of pigeons.
And at the top of that fountain, there are loads of pigeons. And they make a lot of noise. Too much noise. One day, this Italian man decides to walk.
शुंभनी शुंभना शीश हरी लीदा शुंभनी शुंभना शुंभनी शुंभना शीश हरी लीदा द्रुमलोचन ढंढोळ्याच्या मुंडमाना चोटीले टाकला भाग्या हे हालो चोटीले टाकला भाग्याच्या मुंडमाना चोटीले टाकला भाग्या की दर्द मिल